Ladies and gentlemen, the current contest is a exhibition bout between two commentary channels on YouTube. In the red corner, he's the reigning amateur commentary champion of the world, Rhetorical Eddie. And in the blue corner, representing the wholesome side of the commentary community, Quinton, the Soy Boy Reviews. I hope I don't sound like Keemstar when I do that. How you guys going? Eddie from Rhetorical Thoughts back here. Been away for a while, university-related hiatus, but you know, knock on wood, I think I'll pass and I'll graduate. And I'll be celebrating with this random 1 litre Russian beer I bought from my local bottle shop. Well, a bottle shop. Okay, let's get straight into this video. Quinton Reviews. So this video is going to be talking about how Quinton Reviews doesn't teach us how to have a conversation. It's going to be a little bit different from my normal stuff, but there's going to be more videos coming soon, don't worry. So Quinton Reviews, I've been following them for some time, and I think for the purpose of this video and the purpose of life, I think it's important in most cases to be able to separate the art from the artist. I've been following him on YouTube for a while, and I'm a big fan of his content. In fact, recently I had a friend ask me what type of channels I follow on YouTube, and I gave him like 5 YouTubers to sort of describe my sort of the content I watch, and Quinton was in that top 5 I remember. But for the longest time, you know, there's been 2 Quintons. There's YouTube Quinton and there's Twitter Quinton. Now, they really are the same person, but I think, you know, one of them's more opinion-based and one of them's more reviewing, obviously. But so he's on Twitter. It hasn't been uncommon for him to post, you know, a social justice warrior thing or a feminist thing or something very left, and it's occasionally fringe left, and it never fazed me. I've got friends from, well, that is my friend, but I have friends. All across the political spectrum, left, right, different, and then, you know, all different amalgamations of that. Amalgamations? Who cares? So when he posts something that, you know, it's very it's like very radically feminist or something, it never really bleeped on my radar. But then one day I remember, it was just after VidCon this year, the tweet's been deleted, so I'm gonna have to try and remember it. He posted a tweet though, which is what I essentially call him doing. He's been doing this for a bit as well. Here's what I call false political posturing, whereby he acts as if, you know, he's puffing his chest up and he's going against the mainstream and he's challenging the social norms, but he's not. It's just you phrase it as a posturing move, but really you're not. Essentially, his tweet was something along the lines of controversial opinion. I have some very left opinions, and I'm no longer afraid to share them socially, publicly, and privately, or something like that. I tweeted back to him, I disagree. Socially, especially, it's more palatable to be left these days than right. That's why someone like Robert De Niro can say fuck Trump and get an applause. But either way, forever a fan, love your stuff. I think that summarizes it, and that really, and even I think that tweet, the essence of that tweet will summarize the way I feel about this video. I disagree with you, but I still love your stuff. And I think most people should be able to do that. I think also you get into a dangerous territory on a side note where people get dogmatically attached to a creator or an artist per se, and they just adopt whatever their opinions are. I think people need to found their own opinions and beliefs themselves. But without getting too deep, without getting too fucking deep on that topic, back to Quinton. So recently, I'm sure everyone's aware, Ben Shapiro was on PewDiePie's meme review. And a lot of people were upset at them, and one of them was Quinton Reviews. And there's been a bunch of videos done on this, so there's no point in me beating these to the ground. I'm going to quickly go through the tweets, and I'm going to give you a couple of footnotes on what I think about these tweets before I get to the main point of this video. So this is going to be a controversial opinion again, but I'm disappointed about PewDiePie deciding to have Ben Shapiro on his channel. Ben Shapiro is a transphobic and occasionally racist egghead. When you have him on the show, you humanize his platform and help him to grow. And then later on he said, I understand that everyone's going to scream freedom of speech, Quinton, freedom of speech. But I'm not calling for him to be banned. I just think that when we ignore huge flaws in public figures to make connections, we're selling out to a cult of hatred. It's not worth it. And finally he says, I always hear my YouTuber friends say, well, I don't care about politics, so I'll know anybody. But it's hard to stand by when it's a bigot, because you're basically saying, well, he likes me because I'm not the category of person he hates, so it's fine. So there's a lot to unpack in this, and I said there's a bunch of videos done on it, and probably a bunch of videos. Maybe ask me a lot, and I'll do a more in-depth video on this. Give me fucking 10 likes and a weird comment asking me to do it, and I'll do it. Fuck, that's lame. Anyway, so this tweet, these series of tweets essentially start drawing us towards the point of this video where Quinton shows us not how to have a discussion. So he's not a fan of Ben Shapiro, obviously, and so what he does, rather than challenge Ben Shapiro's specific ideas, he labels him as a couple of different things, and he says humanize his platform. So essentially, Quinton's discussion tactic is to dehumanize him. And so when he's no longer human, he's a monster, he's a bigot, he's a racist, we don't have to have this discussion. And if someone labels you as one of those things, it immediately puts you on the back foot, whereby you can't actually continue the conversation. You have to say, well, I'm not a racist, and let me tell you why. So it instantly, by throwing these labels everywhere and actually dehumanizing people, you end the conversation, or you enable the ability to have a proper conversation. And realistically, I think if Ben Shapiro is as terrible as a person as he is, having 70 million subscribers shine a light on him is probably a good thing, because it'll illuminate all his flaws. Furthermore, Ben Shapiro wasn't even talking about political stuff, he was actually making fun of himself, because in a lot of cases, Ben Shapiro has become a meme.
Ben, where are we at?
Or Dallas.
And I really feel like even if you can find Quinton's tier series versus PewDiePie video, you realize that I don't think Quinton understands jokes sometimes. I think he doesn't quite get meme culture, but once again, irrelevant. Well, maybe we'll talk about that another time if you ask me to do that. Say please 7 times in the comments and I'll do a video on that. Fuck, I'm gay. Essentially, Quinton labels people, dehumanizes them, and doesn't want to have a discussion with them. So essentially, tweets like this show to us that Quinton actually operates within an echo chamber. Now, here's the dangers of operating within an echo chamber. You see, when you post something like this, which is, I think it is quite controversial, because he's dehumanizing a person. He's saying that I don't want to have a discussion with them. I'm not saying ban them, but we shouldn't associate with them. You might just fucking say ban them, grow a fucking spine. But operate in this echo chamber, so you have the people who agree with you, who are like, fuck yeah, you tell them, Quinton, and you nod at them, you're like, yeah. And then you put 2 different people in the same box. You put the people who are genuinely sending you hatred in the same box as the people who are just challenging your opinions. You're like, look at these triggered libtards, or these triggered righties. What do you call a right winger? I don't know, these triggered fucking Dems and all this shit like that. You label them and you're like, I'm just melting snowflakes. By boxing those 2 people in the same box, you actually don't have a conversation. You don't have a discussion. And yeah. And I think this echo chamber is further highlighted in his Thinning 2 review, whereby it's, I think, where he goes into his sort of his Trump rant. And I think, look, you could easily phrase The Thinning as an anti-Trump movie. It is possibly an allegory for that, but I think it's just really an allegory for anti-establishment sort of ideals. It's like, oh, V for Vendetta is about Trump. No, it's not. You're just applying that. It's just, yeah. But anyway, Quinton has this anti-Trump rant. And look, to a degree, the point is somewhat valid. But he does his false political posturing again, whereby he puffs up his chest and he tells us that, here's the thing, I fucking hate Donald Trump. He makes me embarrassed to be an American, blah, 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 blah.
I'm disappointed, movie. So, here's the thing. I fucking hate Trump. He embarrasses me every day. He makes us all look like backwards idiots, and frankly, the fact that he got elected means that we probably are all backwards idiots. He's ruining people's lives. He's making horrible racist decisions, which are probably going to have long-lasting repercussions long after he's out of office. Overall, I would be a much happier person if we found a way to deport him from every position of power that he has ever had. But on that note, I feel like if this is a movie about Trump, they're doing a bad job.
A couple of reasons. I think, for one, there's an obvious cut before he goes into it, and 90% of that statement wasn't necessary and didn't actually contribute to the video. Now look, share your opinion all you want, and I think that one, it's somewhat valid. But he did get a bit of pushback on it, and I think you can tell the way he responded to it, he just sort of summarized it as, it's fucking triggering some people on the left. I mean, on the right. Whoops. And so this finally gets me to the point we're going to be discussing. In one of his Fallen Titans, he has a 2-second quip against JonTron, where he says, all racist YouTubers want to be JonTron.
Saying that every angry gamer is trying to be James Rolfe is like saying that every racist gamer is trying to be JonTron.
Firstly, JonTron's not a racist. Secondly, fuck you. Thirdly, I still like you. And I saw he posted on Twitter. I can't find the tweets right now. But he posted on Twitter, and I think in the comment section as well, saying like all this pushback for a 2-second comment. But there was a bunch of people who were saying like, yeah, you fucking murdered JonTron. Yeah. And now let's get to the point of how to actually have a discussion or have a conversation. See, I don't think JonTron's racist, and I think to be able to have this discussion, you need to be able to do something, which is extend empathy. Which, based on Quinton's previous tweets, where he just dehumanizes people and just slaps labels on people, you're a bigot, you're transphobic, you're an egghead. He shows that he doesn't want to have this conversation, so he's not actually extending empathy. The comments that he's talking about, not so much JonTron's streams with Sargon, I think we're more talking about the debate with Destiny, where JonTron posed a few controversial ideas, but I'm going to be a JonTron apologist for the rest of this video, and I'm going to unpack what I think the premise of those ideas were. So, we begin with the empathy. So let's understand what JonTron's worldview is. So JonTron comes from 2 immigrant parents. I believe one's from Iran, one's from Hungary. Now, I'm not going to assume a whole lot, but once upon a time, and still these days, Iran isn't a good place to be for a lot of different people, races, genders, and religions, and sexual identities, and all stuff like that, and whatever, and sexual preferences, but whatever. And to be honest, I don't know much about Hungary, but irrelevant. For whatever reason, JonTron's parents chose to come to America, be they escaping persecution or they just saw greener pastures and they seeked them and they traveled to them. And then you look at their son JonTron. I don't know what his parents made of themselves, but you look at their son JonTron. I'm going to call him John. He actually made something of himself. In so many ways, the son of 2 immigrant parents, made himself a vast wealth and a career. It is the American dream. Now let's look at what America is. America is not an ethnocentric country. You are not American because you're white. You are not American because you're black. You are not American because America is a country that is founded upon a creed. You're similar to Australia somewhat, but more so in America. You're American based on a set of beliefs. This is from an Australian. I'm not American at all. But you're American based on a set of beliefs. And I think JonTron believes, in that video, I think he made a few offhand comments. I think Destiny every now and then fed the term white into his mouth. Because I think JonTron was more talking about when he'd say, like, America's becoming less white, and that's not a good thing. I think he was more saying American. Less American, less people who share these ideals, and less people who have these core beliefs. I think that's what JonTron was expressing. But also, I think that's based on the fact that, his parents came here and they accepted those creeds and they became American, and then look at what happened out of that. Good things can happen. And see, I think that's where you extend empathy. I think JonTron made a few offhand comments, but also I think one of the things that JonTron did in that video, I think you can sort of tell in the stuff he's saying, it seems almost like he's just been red pilled. And you look at his Twitter in the time and all stuff like that. I remember that time he all of a sudden just got really philosophically and politically awoken per se, and he developed these ideas. And it was a very controversial time as well. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are taking like offhand comments that JonTron essentially made in a discussion with someone, whereby he was. I really feel like if you revisited that conversation between those 2 people, it would go a different way. JonTron would probably be more founded in his opinions and more understanding, and probably a bit more concise. I think completely labeling someone of a couple offhand comments in a couple moments where they misspoke potentially, and they were backed into a corner. And look, if you back me into a corner on certain things, people like me, myself, I'm very stubborn. I put my fucking foot down and I'll just dig my heels in the ground. That's not a good tactic, but I think JonTron did that somewhat too. So I don't think JonTron's a racist, and I don't hate Quinton. I don't know what else to say, but I'll end this on one final point. The ability to have a conversation and a discussion is always going to be built on the premise of the ability to extend empathy or to put the shoe on the other foot of someone. If it's okay for one person to do it, how do I think if someone on my side did it? How do I think if someone on my side made an offhand comment or made or mistakenly said something? And I think if people can start extending empathy and opening up and actually having conversations and quit with this fucking petty labeling left and right, I think the world will be a better place. So sorry, this is a break from my normal content that I do, I guess, obviously. I'm going to be back more with some other stuff soon. I just wanted to get this off my chest. This is sort of more of a ranty sort of video. Doing this all in one take, which probably isn't a good idea. Stick around, better stuff coming. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell me I'm a fucking racist. I've heard it before. Eddie from Rhetorical Thoughts, signing out. Sorry if I triggered you. I'm not gonna do